So news breaks today, and it's not good news for the Colts. All that and more on this, the No Horsing Around podcast.
Thank you.
Okay, you guys. So breaking news, right? Earlier today that starting cornerback Juju Brents is going on IR for a knee injury. Not like I think they've come out and said like not an ACL, not an MCL, just a weird thing that he aggravated and injured in the game. It was reported by Stephen Holder, I believe, that he kind of powered through the end of the game. But he is going to require surgery that is going to put him on IR. And we kind of had two different conflicting reports a little bit. You had the one that said he's out, he'll be fully ready by 2025. You had another one kind of saying he could come back maybe December-ish, similar to like the Jelani Woods one of like, hey, he could come back if a playoff run is necessary. It kind of sounds like he's on the shelf for the rest of the season. Worst news possible for the Colts, really, right? An already super thin cornerback room just got a hell of a lot thinner because one of your starters goes down, which is what the biggest fear was for Colts fans coming through the offseason of Chris Ballard making no moves really in the secondary and the cornerback area, right? Like he made no moves to really improve it. He liked his guys, Jalen Jones, Juju Brents, Dallas Flowers, right? He felt confident in his guys, is what he said. But what are you gonna do? You know, right before the season starts, they go out, they get Samuel Womack, who just joined the team a week ago. Today, they signed Kelvin Joseph off of the Chiefs roster, former second-round pick for the Cowboys, super young, still like 24. But what's he going to do? There's a high level of concern, right? There's a high level of concern that you are now not even thin. It's just not there anymore. And we knew kind of as Colts fans that the number one issue going in to the season about the secondary was how thin you were and the inability to sustain kind of any injuries whatsoever in that position room. And not only did you get one, you got one the first week and you got one to a starter. So what are they going to do at this point, right? They're going to call up, if they haven't already at this point of the recording, they're going to call up Samuel Womack. They're going to plug and play him. Dallas Flowers will not be a scratch this week. He was a healthy scratch in week one. He'll have to come up and play. And there's a lot of people out there who have mentioned and sent me messages on Twitter and have sent me responses on threads that kind of showed like, well, there's still a lot of, quality free agents out there, right? And my concern level with that is if they are still free agents after the season started, how quality are they? Some of the names that got tossed around to me today from people, not people in the know, but people who are just curious. Obviously, there's Xavier Howard. That was one. He's 31 coming off of two kind of down seasons. You've got J.C. Jackson, who's coming off a really down time with the Patriots, still fairly young. But what would you do if you brought one of them in? Are you going to stick them on an island and see what they can do? Because they're not going to know kind of all the workings of the cover two, the Tampa 2 that Gus Bradley runs. So what is your plan with that? Right now, you can still bring somebody in, but what does it do for this week in regards to going up against the Packers? Which might be the only saving grace that you have at this point is that you aren't playing Jordan Love this week. You're playing Malik Willis, who is horrendous in the past, does not show to be an NFL caliber quarterback or backup at times. And so you're not as concerned with some of those wide receivers on the Packers roster, like a Romeo Dobbs and a Christian Watson, as you were last week. But it still doesn't, it still goes to show what what is your plan going ahead? You've got your young guys. Yeah, you still have Jalen Jones out there, but let's also remember that Jalen Jones is a later round, what, sixth or seventh round pick for a reason. He played well last year and he got better as the season went on. But is he really your guy? And then now you're going to have to put somebody like a Dallas Flowers on the other side. Super athletic, super fast. But can he actually do it? Is always been the question that we came into this year with. You don't have Juju now out there, who's a very physical, big body. I got lucky enough to see him in person at training camp last year, his rookie season, and he's much longer and bigger than you would think. But you don't have him anymore. So are you going to roll with some of these young guys? Are you going to bring up a Samuel Womack? Are you going to potentially sign some sort of player outside of Kelvin Joseph to try to bolster this secondary? Or are you going to roll with what you have and just see what happens? I would love to tell you guys I think that they're going to go sign a true veteran corner, but I think it would be stupid as a fan of the Colts since I was 5 years old and having watched Chris Ballard operate this team for the last 7 years at this point, I believe. To sit here and tell you that he's going to go sign a free agent to plug and play would be asinine and would be me lying to you. We all know the answer. The answer is they are going to call someone up. He is going to roll with what he has, and he's going to hope for the best that they improve. It's what he's always done when they've been limited. Think back a few years ago when wide receiver was really thin. It was Michael Pittman early on in his career, and we were begging for him to go sign somebody, and he didn't. And you had players get hurt, and you had Ashton Doolin starting as a top three, I think, at that time, wide receiver. And you were begging for Michael Strawn to get in the game, and you were just kind of looking at this, and he never really went out and signed anybody. You know, he took little swings here and there for like a Devin Funchess, years and years ago. He's tried different things, but he drafted an Alec Pierce, he drafted an AD Mitchell, he drafted a Joshua Downs. That's what he does. Now, I would say that cornerback now becomes the number one priority on his list during the offseason. I do think that, because I think he will operate in the same manner that he's going to operate with Jelani, which is they can still be a piece of the puzzle, but he cannot rely on them to be healthy going forward. You cannot count on him to play 17 games because he has not. So you have to have a different plan in the offseason. What do y'all think? Like, do you actually think Chris Ballard's going to go and make a signing? Because, like I said, I don't. I don't see it. I'd be stunned if it happened outside of this, like this Kelvin Joseph signing, right? I would be stunned if we woke up in the morning and he signed a Xavier Howard or a J.C. Jackson or some other veteran corner that's still sitting out on the market that's 29 to 32 years old. He's not going to do it. I just don't see it. Am I being stupid, or am I being smart when it comes to knowing what he's going to do? Drop it in the comments. Let me know what you think. As always, you guys, please like, share, subscribe, comment, all the great things that I love. Also, I'd love it if you'd go on, follow on X, follow on Threads, subscribe on YouTube, go check out Instagram, go like it over on Facebook, all the places that we drop this stuff at. And as always, you guys, I love you. I know the Colts love you.